We are born into a world that is constantly in motion, where nothing stands still and nothing lasts forever. Everything that appears must follow the universal law of life: birth, existence, change, disappearance. That is the law of the universe, the flow of time, the undeniable truth. Yet paradoxically, while the world keeps changing, we humans often try to hold on. We hold on to our loved ones, a relationship, a memory, a phase of life, even a former image of ourselves. We want good things to last forever, pleasant feelings to stay longer, and the things we love to never change. And when that doesn't happen, we suffer. Impermanence is not a religious concept, nor something distant. Impermanence is truth. It unfolds in every single moment of life. A flower begins to wilt the moment it blooms. A human growing up is already walking toward old age. A breath coming in is already on its way out. Morning sunlight, before we can fully feel it, has already turned into dusk. The Buddha once said, "All conditioned things are impermanent. Arising and passing away never cease." Those who understand this will no longer feel pain when loss arrives, because their heart has been prepared in advance. But why do we still suffer? Because we live as though everything is forever. We resist facing the reality that everything has a beginning and will also have an end. Perhaps it's because endings are always linked to a sense of loss. When something ends, a relationship, a beautiful chapter, the passing of a loved one, we feel empty. That emptiness is not only from the absence outside, but from the fear inside. Not knowing what's next, not knowing how to fill the space. But the truth is, nothing truly ends if we understand the meaning of that ending. Each departure brings with it a lesson, a moment of growth, a letting go, to become lighter. The person who once promised to stay by our side for life eventually parted ways. The place that once was our home eventually had to be left behind. The relationship that once felt like a dream gradually faded with time. Even ourselves are no longer the same person we were 5 years ago. When we look back at life, we'll see that everything comes and goes in its own way. Not because someone was wrong, not because life is unfair, but simply because the time has come for it to end. Just like a piece of music, no matter how beautiful, it must come to a close. If one part keeps repeating endlessly, we grow tired. Its beauty lies in the fact that it doesn't last forever. I once met a woman in her 40s, living alone in a small house filled with photos and memories of her late husband. She hadn't changed a thing since he passed, from the chair he used to sit in to the tea set, even the old coat he left behind. She said, "I'm afraid I'll forget him if I throw anything away." But because she kept everything, she also kept the pain. She didn't open her heart to anyone else, didn't move forward, didn't give herself a chance to live a new life. She didn't live in the present, but in a present haunted by the past. We can sympathize, but if we understand the laws of life, we will see holding on to something that has already passed is the same as refusing to let something new arrive. Only when we accept that everything has an ending can we live fully in each moment while it still exists. When we know that one day our loved ones will no longer be with us, we will love them more deeply and not miss the ordinary moments. When we know that youth won't last, we will not waste our time. Endings are inevitable, but it is precisely because things end that everything becomes precious. If life were infinite, would we still know how to love the way we do today? If no one ever died, would we still fear regret? According to the teachings of the Buddha, all phenomena operate through 4 stages. Birth, sin, the beginning, formation, existence, true, continuation, development, change, die, transformation, alteration, disappearance, diet, loss, dissolution. Nothing exists outside of this cycle. A love, a job, an opportunity, even pain, all will go through these 4 stages. When we understand this, we no longer cling to anything for too long. We learn to welcome it when it arrives and smile when it leaves. The first step in the journey of letting go is not to give up something specific, but to accept. Accept that everything has a beginning and everything will come to an end. From acceptance, we can begin to understand. From understanding, we can begin to love. From love, we can truly let go. Don't ask why things ended. Ask, how did I live while it was still here? If every ending is a reminder, then let our hearts always be ready to say thank you instead of if only. Because nothing lasts forever. But if we live fully, every moment can become eternal, in peaceful memory. In life, there are things that the more we try to hold on to, the more they cause us pain. There are people, the more we cling, the further they drift away. There are memories, the tighter we hold, the heavier they weigh on our hearts. Because the law of life is motion, change, and transformation, but we often live against that law. We try to hold on to what no longer belongs. Holding on to something that's already broken is holding on to pain. Holding on to someone who's let go is holding on to loneliness. Holding on to a beautiful image from the past is denying the present. We suffer, not because life changes too quickly, but because our hearts cannot let go of what can no longer be held. We often think we cannot let go, but in truth, what we cannot release are our emotions, our fears, our illusions inside ourselves. There are 4 reasons why letting go is difficult for most people. First, the sense of ownership. From a young age, we are taught that we must have possessions, have status, have love, have someone by our side. Once we have them, we believe they are ours. But the truth is, no one owns anyone, and nothing is permanent. Second, fear of loss. Losing someone, losing a source of support, losing a familiar feeling, makes us feel as though life is no longer whole. So even when we know something has already cracked, we still try to hold on, as if clinging to what's old will protect us from facing loss. Third, emotional dependency. There are people who have hurt us, but because they once gave us love, we cannot bring ourselves to let go. We confuse true love with emotional habit, so even when they cause us pain, we still cannot walk away. Fourth, false beliefs. We believe that if we try a little harder, wait a little longer, everything will go back to the way it was. But sometimes what is already broken cannot return to how it once was. Someone once said, I held tightly to the hand that had already let go of me, so much so that I couldn't see another hand reaching out, wanting to hold mine. That sentence makes us reflect. When we keep clinging to something that has already faded, we leave no room in our hearts to receive something new. We reject the chance to be happy again simply because we haven't let go of an old wound. Holding on to a closed door is turning your back on all the doors that are still open. Holding on to someone who no longer loves you is preventing yourself from being loved again. Letting go does not mean forgetting. Letting go means accepting that what is past is no longer suitable, so that we can give ourselves a chance to live more lightly. Someone once said, I don't want to let go because it feels like giving up. But in truth, letting go is not losing. Letting go is the courage to walk away when you know you are no longer being nourished. Letting go of a toxic relationship is loving yourself. Letting go of unrealistic expectations is returning to reality. Letting go of an idealized image is learning to live authentically. Letting go does not mean denying the goodness that once was. It means recognizing it, being grateful, and then moving forward. There were 2 women who both lost a loved one in an accident. The first, every day, she sat silently beside the altar crying. She left everything exactly as it was. The room, the final outfit, even the phone of the person who passed. She lived as if time had frozen, as if that person still lingered somewhere in the house. The second, after many days of grief, wrote a long letter to the one who had gone. In the letter, she poured out everything in her heart: love, regret, gratitude, sorrow. Then she burned the letter, lit incense, and whispered, I'm letting go. I love you, but I also need to live. She began learning to cook, practicing meditation, doing charity work. From pain, she found peace. Not because she forgot, but because she chose to love in a way that no longer hurt herself. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, you cannot lose what you never truly owned. That person was not yours, You were simply lucky to walk beside them for a while. When they leave, wish them peace. When we understand this, our hearts feel much lighter, because what we thought was ours, which was in truth only a shared moment of connection. And connection sometimes stays, sometimes fades. Letting go is not a one-time decision. It is a way of life, a daily practice. Each morning say, "Today I choose to live lighter than yesterday." When old memories come flooding back, take a deep breath and gently remind yourself, "I am in the present moment." Each night, write down one thing you need to let go of today, a resentment, a fear, an unfulfilled expectation. Letting go is the path back to yourself, a place where there is nothing you need to forcefully hold on to, only the peace that comes from within. You don't need to keep holding on to things that no longer hold you. You don't need to cling to someone who has chosen to walk away. You don't need to hurt yourself just to preserve something that was once beautiful. If you can't hold on, learn to let go. Letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about living more fully. Because when you let go, you're not losing. You're simply returning to life what has already fulfilled its purpose. And you will see someday that your heart still knows how to love, how to trust, how to care again. But this time, without the weight of the past, only the gentle presence of yourself, the version of you that has learned how to let go. Letting go is an inner journey, not just the act of leaving someone or something behind. In truth, some of the hardest things to let go of are not others, but ourselves. Letting go of our judgments, our expectations, our old versions, the things we thought were us, but no longer align with the path we are walking. In this section, we will explore the 3 deep dimensions of letting go. Letting go of people, those who have left or who are no longer the person we once knew. Letting go of ourselves, the old versions, the mistakes, the past, and the self-blame. Letting go of expectations, of ourselves, of others, and of life. There are people who once walked with us through a beautiful part of our journey. They were once our inspiration, our lover, our soulmate, our family. But then somehow they left. Perhaps because of something beyond our control, like death. Or perhaps because hearts changed, or our life paths no longer aligned. The hardest part of letting someone go isn't physical distance. It's letting go of their image in our mind. We can't let go because we're still holding on to the version of that person as they used to be. But the real person has changed, has left, or no longer exists. We suffer, not because we lost someone, but because our hearts haven't yet accepted that reality has changed. The person has left, but if we still cling to their shadow in our heart, it's no different than trapping ourselves in a dream with no exit. Letting someone go doesn't mean forgetting them. It means returning them to where they need to be. It means not using the emotions of the past to bind the present. We often think that letting go is about others, but in fact, there is a deeper kind of letting go. Letting go of ourselves, letting go of old mistakes, letting go of the versions of ourselves that were once immature, once failed. Letting go of the things we once blamed ourselves for, felt ashamed of, or wished to forget. We live with many versions of ourselves from the past, and not all of them are lovable or easy to remember. There were times we said things that hurt others, made wrong decisions, harmed even our own well-being. And those things make us angry at ourselves, unable to forgive. But you know what? Every old version was necessary for you to be here, as you are today. Letting go of yourself is learning to love yourself the way a mother holds her child after they've made a foolish mistake. No scolding, no pushing away, just a quiet embrace and a whisper. It's okay, you've grown now. Expectations are one of the greatest sources of pain in relationships. We expect our parents to always understand us, our partner to be perfect, our friends to never change. We expect ourselves to always be right, always succeed, always be loved. But life does not unfold according to our expectations, and it is precisely the gap between reality and expectation where suffering begins. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean giving up on goals. It means letting go of the demand that everything must happen the way we want it to. Instead of forcing others to change, accept them as they are. Instead of tormenting yourself for not achieving something yet, recognize the small efforts you make each day. Instead of demanding that life be fair, choose to live with values, even when life isn't as you wish. When you let go of an old relationship, you open space for kind people to enter. When you let go of an outdated image of yourself, you allow yourself to grow. When you let go of expectations, you live more freely, more peacefully. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is returning everything to its rightful place in life. And when everything returns to its place, you also return to your natural place. A person living fully, not bound, not haunted, not imprisoned by what has passed. People fear letting go because they think it will leave them lacking people, lacking emotions, lacking something familiar. But the truth is, letting go does not make you empty. It makes you whole, because you are no longer filled with things that no longer fit. Let go of others to set them free. Let go of yourself to find peace. Let go of expectations to live truthfully. Those are the three deep dimensions of letting go. And each of those dimensions requires you to return inward, to look directly into your heart, and to love yourself completely. In life, when people think of strength, they often think of holding on, holding firm to opinions, holding on to power, clinging to love, maintaining success. But there is another kind of strength, quiet, gentle, unassuming, the strength of letting go. Not everyone has the courage to let go, because letting go means loss, means releasing your grip, means accepting that some things no longer belong to you. But it is precisely in that moment, when you release something that has become too heavy, that you realize how much lighter you feel. The weak cling to what no longer holds value. The strong are those who can say, I accept, I let go, I move on. Letting go does not mean failure. Letting go is the act of a wise person, someone who knows their limits and the limits of others. A person who lets go of a toxic relationship is someone who has overcome the fear of loneliness. A person who lets go of unrealistic expectations is someone who has come to understand themselves. A person who lets go of negative emotions is someone growing in mindfulness. Letting go is putting down the heavy backpack we've been carrying for too long. Imagine you are standing on a bridge. In your hands are many things, stones, bags, tangled ropes. You cannot move forward because every step is a burden. Every step makes you bend. Letting go one by one, you begin to feel lighter, move faster, and feel freer. Letting go of a worry, your mind opens. Letting go of someone who hurt you, your heart softens. Letting go of an old mistake, you give yourself a chance to start over. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is creating space for the next part of life to unfold. There are wounds that cannot heal if we keep holding on. Like a cut that keeps being touched, it cannot close. But when we stop touching, stop mentioning, stop bringing it back, that is when the body and the mind begin to heal naturally. Letting go is about stopping. Stopping the self-inflicted suffering. Stopping the repetition of an old story. Stopping the act of living in something that is no longer true. From that point, the energy of healing begins to sprout. We learn to embrace ourselves. We no longer place blame, no longer project expectations outward. We return inward, resting peacefully within ourselves. To let go, we must first recognize, what is making me feel tired? What causes a sting in my heart every time I remember it? What am I still thinking? Maybe I lost it because I wasn't good enough. Listening to yourself is the first step, because no one else can tell you what you need to let go of. Only you, when you are quiet enough, honest enough, can know what is truly holding you back. Once you see it clearly, gently acknowledge it. No resistance, no rush. Just notice it and accept it. Letting go begins with that clear seeing. A true story. A woman learned to let go and came back to life. A cup of hot tea sipped slowly, without rushing. These things, though seemingly small, are the very essence of a fulfilling life. Only when we let go of the excess do we have enough space to truly see, touch, and live with these things. I once met a young father, a director at a large company. He said that in the past he was always busy, meetings, signing contracts, chasing KPIs. He had everything, a house, a car, money. But there was one thing he didn't have, genuine presence with his child. One night, returning home late and seeing his child already asleep, he looked at that small face and broke down in tears. He realized he had missed so many irreplaceable moments. His child's first words, the first time riding a bike, the way his child looked for him in a crowd. From that day, he dared to let go. He turned down several big contracts and shifted from running the company to becoming an advisor. He said, "I didn't make another 10 billion, but I gained what I never want to lose. My child's hugs, laughter, and trusting eyes." Letting go sometimes means restoring the true values of life. We hold on because we're afraid to lose, but that fear makes us live in tension. We hold on to loved ones too tightly and suffocate them. We hold on to work and lose our health. We hold on to our image and trade away our freedom. But if one day you can say, "I'm willing to lose because I lived every moment fully with it," then you will no longer be afraid. You will no longer regret because you have loved enough, lived enough, cared enough, and been grateful enough. Nothing lasts forever, but if we live wholeheartedly, it becomes eternal within us. When drinking water, just drink without checking your phone. When talking to someone, look into their eyes and listen with your whole heart. When walking, feel your feet touch the ground, your breath moving in and out. When laughing, laugh wholeheartedly. When you're sad, be fully sad. Don't run away. That is how to live fully. That is how letting go no longer feels like a loss, but becomes a way of living deeply, truthfully. Living in this world, we cannot hold on to everything forever, but we can turn each passing thing into a meaningful gift by being grateful, by being present, by not letting anything leave us in vain. Let go to see each moment as a blessing. Live to know that you are being given the most beautiful gift, to be here right now. You don't need to live a life that is long or grand. You only need to live a life that is deep enough, loving enough, mindful enough, tender enough. And to do that, you must learn to let go. Let go of others. Let go of yourself. Let go of expectations. Let go of the past. Let go of the future, so that when things come, you smile and welcome them. And when things go, you gently place your palms together and say, "Thank you."